everybody. So like on Facebook and every soaping group, like I get this question all the time: what happens if you have a disaster and your soap doesn't set right? Well, I've always said cut it up, put it in a crock pot, recook it. And I got this loaf, and due to, in my opinion, improperly blending, which oftentimes is called bringing it to trace, I have part of my fragrance has separated from my soap. So I'm gonna try something new on how to fix it, and I'm gonna bring you along for the ride. Here we go. So I have a cookie sheet, and I have brought my oven up to 200 degrees. And now I'm gonna put it on warm, okay? All right, and I'm gonna take this cookie sheet with the soap on it uncovered and stick it on the top rack, because the bottom rack is closer to the heat. And we're really fortunate that we have Essential Depot silicone molds, because it can tolerate it, and we have the metal support basket and it can tolerate it. So Essential Depot rocks if this works, right? Okay, so I'm gonna leave this in here for 30 minutes and then I'm gonna bring you back. Okay, I left it on warm for 30 minutes and that was not doing it. All of the fragrance and possibly other came up around the edges. It is very soft, and so, but in the middle it's still hard. So I'm taking and sort of making holes in it, divots you might say, and I'm melting it up, or I'm putting it to where I think it would melt easier, because it's melting around the edges but it's still firm around. See, like here we've definitely got soft soap, and so I'm just breaking it up to where it will melt easier. And I've got the oven on 200. I'm gonna cut it down to 150. I had it for 30 minutes on warm, and all it did was bring more fragrance out of it, or liquids out of it, but it stayed very firm underneath. And so I turned it up to 200 degrees, and now I'm gonna turn it down to 150. Okay guys, so I have made this all soft again. This will do you no good, of course, about keeping colors separate. But basically I put it on 200, and then I brought it down to warm, left it on warm for 30 minutes, and I could tell I was going nowhere fast. So I raised it back up to 200 for 30 minutes, and then I put it back on 150 for an hour. And the Essential Depot mold is a little hot. I'm doing my best here. I should have, I don't have I don't know, oven mitts here. I don't have that, so anyway. So let's see if we've lost our smell. I think we've lost some of it. It was grass because this took so long to heat. I'm thinking at this point that you could separate this and add colors to it, possibly, as long as you were working really fast, because this is going to turn into soap in a very short period of time. Okay, now we're going to need another mold. So I think that this one was unscented, but I'm just going to go ahead and scent it with about an ounce of tobacco vanilla. And as you can see, we're getting thick really quick. And I think you could have even dumped this in a pre-warmed crock pot like this instead of into a bowl, so that the heat from the pre-warmed crock pot on low would have immediately kept the soap more fluid. This was a test batch of Grandma's old-fashioned lard soap. I had put in a little bit of colorant to see what it would look like in lard soap. And ultimately what I did wrong was I didn't get it blended well enough. What y'all would call bringing it to trace. That is, y'all soap, cold process soapers. I'm just learning. So I'm going to go back to my roots here of a hot process soaper and do a little swirl. And because I've cooked this for 2 hours on low, I really think that this is going to end up looking and acting a lot like a hot process soap. I was just seeing if it would permit any kind of other kind of activity on here. It looks like it's, you know, it's being movable for a while. It's definitely definitely got some playability to it. So I gave it a swirl to get if any of the soap on the top had cooled, because I had, you know, dumped it in the mold, that soap would, I would pull up hot fresh soap from the bottom and have that available to play with. So I just gave it a plain little S design. It smells good. We shouldn't have any lye eating the fragrance because we cooked it, so it's definitely lye dead at this point because of how long I cooked it. So I don't think we're gonna have any worries about that. If you've got a soap that separates, it's got a whole bunch of different colors, you're just gonna end up probably with a black or an odd color. So there's not much you could do with that. But luckily I only had a little bit of orange in this one beside just the uncolored lard soap. So I ended up with just, you know, a sort of a yellowish color because of the orange, I think. I put a little scent in it because I just couldn't remember for sure, but I believe I made this one unscented. It was a test batch. I didn't take notes like you would on a batch you're making for sale. So that's what I did to fix it. is I just cooked it basically. And just so you know, let me put the lid on here. You saw that the Essential Depot mold was concaving to some degree. But it goes right back to shape after you get it out of this. And I don't recommend heating it up without the basket, because when you go to pick it up, you're gonna squish all that hot soap out on you, unless, you know, maybe you could do it from underside. But be cautious about that, because you might end up really burning yourself. Although it wasn't too hot to touch. The metal was a little warm, but the soap itself was not too hot to touch. So there you go. That's just maybe a way we could fix cold processed soap when either something doesn't separates, when we get separation, or if we get seizing. Seizing looks a lot like this right here. The soap just gets hard on you and you can't mold it. And so, you know, you could just put it in something that you could put in the oven if you didn't already have it in a mold, like a glass baking pan. Don't use that for cooking later, for food use. And put it in the oven like that, and just get it back down to a liquidy position. Smell it, see if you want to add more scent to it, and then hit it with the stick blender, put it in a mold. Hey everybody, I hope you enjoyed that. Seeing what I did about my little disaster. I was doing some test batches, and when you test, you play, things happen. And so one of them, I did not blend for very long. I just blended it to where I felt like it was blended, but I was wrong. I was very, very wrong. Blender just brought it right back into a nice even consistency, and that's what we do with goat's milk soap when we're hot soaping it. So it really looks a lot like hot process. I bet that it will take longer to cure than hot process, but I bet it will end up looking and acting a lot like a hot process soap because we cooked it. That's how I fixed it. Looks pretty good. I think it's fixed for sure. Yep. If not, I'll add a clip to this video tomorrow, because I'm not going to upload it today. So if there's more, it's because something else went wrong. Hey everybody! I look a lot more professional now. I threw that video together. It was like I came in and I was like, ah, I got separation. What am I gonna do? Let's try something different and fun. And so that's what I did. I tried something different, tried something fun. And this one I think is gonna act just like hot processed soap now, because we cooked it in the mold in the oven, and then we blended it, and then yeah, it's acted just like hot processed soap now. Now this could take a little bit longer to cure because it wasn't cooked, you know, in a crock pot for the amount of time normally required, but there's no telling. We'll just have to see. And I put a little bit of that vanilla. Yeah, this tobacco vanilla does this every time. Where it has air contact, it turns color. First time this happened, I thought, oh, that's a cool design. How'd I do that? And then it all turned the same color after I cut it. I was like, well, poo. So let me get that up there. That's the tobacco vanilla. And it does that with every bar. This feels just like hot process. It doesn't feel at all like cold process. I bet you it cures in 5 to 7 days. Might take a few more days. Normally it's 5 days for me, so I bet you 5 to 7 days it'll be cured. And I love the tobacco vanilla scent, so I feel like you will like it too. If it's a great scent for men, and since it does discolor lightly, that's okay because it's a great color for men, and you don't even have to color your soap if you don't want to, because it's gonna do it for you. So that's pretty cool. And so let me bring another couple of bars over there. And so we ended up getting a really pretty top, and we got a pretty bar. And just to show you, I'm squeezing pretty good there. I mean, I'm not digging in with the end of my, I'm doing the balls of my fingers flat, and it is hard. So this soap, I bet you, will cure up in 5 to 7 days. I'm really excited about that. It just, I mean, it was in there on a really low temperature for like 2 freaking hours. But I mean, you know, it wasn't bothering anything. It was in the oven, in the mold, and the mold is fine. Didn't bother it a bit. It's sitting over there clean and ready to go for another loaf. We put it in the oven. I put it in the oven, as you know, for 30 minutes. I turned the oven up to 200, and then I turned it down to warm because I really wasn't sure. I'd never done this before. I didn't know what it would take to melt it. So you might just leave it on 200. And so I just left it in there, and then after it got to where it was really getting soft, I started breaking it up and letting what was melting run in between the, the parts that wasn't melting, and then that caused it to melt even faster. And I think I had it on about 150 for most of the time that it was in the oven. So you might just heat it up to 200, bring it down to 150, put it on a cookie sheet, and put it in the oven. And just, every 30 minutes or every 20 minutes, just check it. But it did beautifully. I had not scented it prior. And now this is Grandma's Old Fashioned Lard Soap, which is a fairly hard soap. Cold process or hot, so it could be that your soap wouldn't quite be as hard as this after this process. We don't know till you try and whatnot, but I'm really satisfied with that. So I really do appreciate you for watching. I thank you so much for subscribing and hitting the like button and commenting, and if you would be interested in being a patron, it's only $1 a month. You'll never miss it. And we're gonna do fun things with that money. We're gonna buy some fancy video cameras, hopefully, so that we can make a lot better quality video for y'all guys, where you can see better. I mean, it's not just that the videos will be flashy. It's so that you can see what's going on in the pots better. You can see what's going on in what I'm mixing better. Because we can have a video camera over there, and we can have one above the table pointed down into the product that I'm working on. And so I sure would love to have you as patrons as well. And as I said, I'm working on a brand new website, and it's a store instead of a traditional website, so that my posts can get out there better, or my products. And I'm going to try to have a patron-only page where there'll be no link to it, and patrons will be able to get the link from inside my patron platform, where you can chat and ask me questions and things of that sort. And then and you can get the link and go in there, and you'll be able to get any of these test soaps, and any soaps I do make that are test soaps, you'll be able to get those for just the shipping. That's pretty cool, right? I think it's cool. All right, so I've got some links for you.